Good everyone, Organized Video. Today we have another dose of double sub requests, and this time it's actually two German planes. First up, we have the BF-109 E-3 requested by Asmund Mosseng. Probably one of my most loyal subscribers. He's been around for ages. He's had his own things to deal with, so you don't see him in the comment section that much, but I'm glad to see that we're seeing a return of him because he's a great guy and he's been in the server a long time. He's been in the community for about a year, nearly 2 years, and well, we've all missed him, so we're certainly glad that he's come back now. So the 109 E3 is one of those aircraft that I just don't play. There's a good reason for that. Now, before anyone asks, no, I don't think this plane is bad. If anything, it's one of the best 109s. But the problem is that it just the cannons suck. To be brutally honest, like that they're okay even on my ping, but they suck for the most part. Now, if I sound a little bit groggy or I sound under the weather, that is due to my hay fever. It has affected me massively. Um, so if I sound like shit, I do apologise for that. Later on, we do have another sub request for a Ju-88A4, so we'll cover that later. But obviously, we're doing this one first. But don't worry, we'll get that sub request done, and hopefully I can not sound like shit because I really do feel like shit. But the one in E3, I just don't play because I have the E4, which is better because it has the better guns. And well, even if I wanted to, I would just play the E1 because the E1 is just as good. And I just don't play the E3. I took this thing out for a few matches with the guys on the Discord. And it felt okay. The guns are a little bit questionable. The MG17s were fine. It's not the MGs. It's the cannon. And we're going to be trialing air targets for this round, by the way. That's just what I want to do because I've been noticing air targets on the MGFF actually working pretty okay. I mean, it's not the best, but it will do the job. So, to save my voice, although my voice actually feels okay, it's just the fact that I feel like shit, really, because it's been a long few days. It's also been quite bad for hay fever, and oh, I regret it. Trust me. I don't feel well, but I kind of need to get these sub requests done so that I can start playing some more Tetris, because I love Tetris, alright, but yeah, I need to do some Tetris to get these sub requests out. Anyway, I'll see you all in match number 1. And welcome to the first match. Today we're on Bulge, which is interesting. This isn't a map I don't see much anymore. I don't know why, I just don't see this map. But yeah, like I say, if I sound under the weather, that's why. Hay fever, just in general, long few days. And yeah, it's just been a crap few days, but I'm okay. Don't worry about me. It's just a lot of stuff's happened just in general. The hay fever has been horrendous to deal with, to the point where my eyes water on a daily basis, which it never used to before. And yeah, that just gives you an idea of how bad my hay fever is right now. And for anyone else, yes, I do take hay fever tablets, but I think I need to kick it up a notch and get something better, because even the stuff that I use isn't fully working. But oh well, I'm sure it's not that big of a deal. So because it's going to take a few minutes to get into the action because of how big this map is, I'm going to cut to the first sign of trouble, or shall we say, oh, what's it from the game called Munchkin? I know we mentioned Munchkin on the channel as in like Munchkin is in Troll King. Not him, it's a board game called Munchkin. We're gonna go looking for trouble. That's the one. I had to remember that. So we're gonna go look for some trouble, and I'll see you all in a moment. Well, welcome back. As you can tell, I've got a bit of a problem. Yeah, that's an XP50. I just looked at some of the players on my team. I have a 4-man fail squad. And well, that's an XP50, and someone's using the N-word in chat. Lovely. I really don't want to see that shit. So we have to try and reverse an XP50, which is very hard to do. Because our cannons are shit, we can't hit him very well, even if we wanted to. Well, I think you might want to report the guys in the chat there, folks, because Jesus Christ, they are not the nicest. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Yeah, pick on the unwell one, Jesus. Well, Skyrocket will out-turn me unless I take this to high speed, but then he'll also out-turn me at high speed. I've got 0 backup right now, so there's not a lot I can do. I've got, what, 4 planes on me? XP's pulled off, good. I've already crit 1 Spitfire, so that's good. We're off to a good start in that regard. Spark. I'm just going to keep the speed on and just keep going and just intercept anything I can, because at this point, given what's on my butt, I don't think this is going to end very well. We'll try and reverse Skyrocket, but I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, well, looks like it was happening. Just not in the way I anticipated. Alright, A35 and a Sea Hurricane. Gonna have to dodge those. A couple of cannon hits, but those things are quite tanky, so we're not going to be doing a lot of damage anyway. Oh, for God's sake. D520? I know this is not the Battle of France, but Jesus, stop swarming me. I don't taste that good, I think. Oh my God. Asmund, did you paint a bullseye on this fucking thing? Jesus. Here we go. At least we've got a crit, but we're dead here. Kind of. Because I'm having a turn fight with superior aircraft. Nope. I tried to dodge that tree, but couldn't. I tried to use the old rudder kick, but when you're being swarmed by 5 different fucking planes, there's not a lot you can do. And plus my team is useless because the 4-man squad ain't doing shit, so yeah. Well, at least we got a kill. The A-20's coming in to steal this though. Ow. Ow. Can we stop with the shooting, please? I'm trying to be nice. Yep, there we go. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? Anyway, let's go on to match number 2 and hope for a bit of a better run. See you all in a moment. And welcome to match number 2. As you can tell by match number 1, yeah, I think Asmund is sabotaging me. Secretly, he slapped a bullseye on the second I took off from that match. He must have ran off, or ran up to the plane when I wasn't looking, fucking slapped a bullseye instead of the freaking bargain crows, or put it on the engine cannon or something. Because, Jesus. I've never been swarmed that much in my life. Like, Jesus. What BR is this? 3-7 again. And we do have Skyrocket, but they also might have Skyrocket. See, this is the problem. As you saw in that match, the cannons just weren't hitting hard enough. Like, sure, we got crits and stuff like that. But if I had the FFM, they would have been dead. And I wouldn't have been in such a bad situation. But because of the FF being meh, even with air targets, stealth, like I tried them with all different builds, like it's just not that good. And that's the sad part, because like this is a very good plane, but the cannons ain't. And I can see why people don't like the E-3 all that much, because of the cannon. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I don't think it's a terrible plane. It's just limited by its armament. The performance is excellent, like, don't get me wrong, the performance is excellent. But when you're fighting multiple different enemies of all different types, and your cannons aren't even getting kills, the only kill we got was through the MG, technically speaking, that's when you know your cannons are a bit shit. So if I was to personally advise, just skip this thing. Like, seriously, you're not missing out on much. I used to play this thing back when FF was actually useful. How long ago was that, you may ask? Several years, in arcade. That's when I flew this thing. I spaded it in AB, and I played it a couple of times in realistic when I started transferring to realistic to unlock the skin for it, or the skins I should say. But otherwise I just wasn't that bothered. Like, I just flew the E4 or the E1. I just didn't play the E3 because of the guns getting nerfed. And as you saw in that previous match, like, the cannons just weren't hitting hard enough. And I have 24 ping. If they ain't hitting hard on my ping, you know it's a problem. And I know someone's probably going to jump in the comments to say, why are you using air targets? Air target says FIT. The FIT does work. Stealth is very hard to aim on the FF cannon. If it was the FFM, I wouldn't be saying this, because the FFM has Meaningerschoss. This doesn't. So what you have to do is you have to rely on the FIT rounds, which are pretty much like high explosive. You've then got an API and an APHE round, and then you've got a useless incendiary tracer, which is causing the spark. And yes, you can run stealth. Yes, you can set your convergence to like how I have. But as you saw in the previous match, it didn't make a world of difference. It didn't matter. And unfortunately, that's why the E3 is kind of poor in this day and age. Unless they fix the cannon, which they kind of need to, this plane will always be the underdog. Okay, after that little bit of discussion there, and just pointing out the obvious here, we've got a bit of an issue. That is a Silver Samurai. I kinda need to kill that, because that thing is basically this, but a bit more agile. And he's arguably got better guns than I do, because he actually, well, my MGs are better than his, but he has 4 of them, I only have 2, so. Yeah, he's just gonna run away, I think. I don't think he wants to fight. But just look, like, my team hasn't done much. I mean, they're all turn fighting on the deck, they're turn fighting with superior aircraft like the Typhoon. Fair enough, he's going down, but this is the kind of teams I have to put up with. So now I have to dive in against superior odds and just hope for the best. Because my cannons ain't gonna do shit, are they? Let's see what they do to this Corsair. So look, that was the MG's critting, not the cannon. Bait the Corsair up, but I don't think he's going to be dumb enough to follow that. So what we'll do is, we'll break off and we'll go for the Cobra, because the Cobra is on the deck. He's got the most power here. Q5, good to know. Good to know for the future. That is if we survive this future. That's the ticket. See, look, that was the cannons doing that. The cannons actually did something. Look, bear in mind, he's got 13mm machine guns. He should not be packing that much damage, but because that is Swedish, he has 4 machine guns that actually work, unlike my 2 cannon. And look, as you saw there, spark, spark, spark. I crit his tail, so we should be okay to dogfight him here. The problem is, he's done the same to my wing. And he has better low speed handling than me. But look, my team is dead. The XP-50's gone and died, doing pretty much nothing other than intercepting bombers. I'm just scoring hits with the cannon here. And look, you saw that. Spark, spark, spark. Trying to aim for that wing to get some more damage. There we go. I'm just gonna go back to base, land J out, because this team has done absolutely fucking nothing. And notice now that I'm low, now that I'm vulnerable, the KI-61 is coming in with 27 points, and he can easily outdance me. He can easily kill me. But unfortunately, this is just life of an E3, sadly. The risks you have to take to get this thing to work just doesn't help it, unfortunately. But yep, I'm just going to go back to base, land the J out, because I seriously cannot be bothered to carry this team, because, well, A, I feel like I'm getting too old for that shit, and B, I just don't want to. And there's kill number 3 on the B-39. That would have been the MGs doing that, most likely. Now, we have to cut throttle. And now I can reapply for just a few seconds on WEP. But notice how he's targeting me because he knows I'm damaged. He's done nothing for his team till now. He's probably going to be one of those kinds of folks who goes onto the forums going, oh, I killed a YouTuber, or like, I killed someone experienced. And then you actually look at the battle, and, well, there's nothing special. You just killed someone who was damaged. Well, if anything, I'm going to let him die to AAA. If he kills me, so what? AAA is going to eat him for it. I couldn't give any less of a shit. Yeah, fuck off. Skillless prick. Ugh. Some of the players I have to deal with, honestly. Spends the whole match running away from me, and then the second I'm damaged and I'm crippled, he comes back to get me. More money than common sense. Right, well, 16 seconds on repair. The H8K has probably dropped, so I'm probably dead here. That was lucky. And well, we're not sticking around to find out what happens with this match. So let's return to the hangar, because this was disappointing, to be brutally honest. Like I said though, I don't think this is a bad plane. It's the cannon that limits it. If I'm having to see that many sparks on 24 ping, which even makes the Chinese Key 45 look fine, because I had less sparks playing the Chinese Key 45 than I do this thing. It's just disappointing, and unfortunately Mozas, or Asmund Mosseng I should say, because that's his Discord name, Mozas, but unfortunately Asmund Mosseng, this thing's just not that great. The performance is fine. I'm not knocking the performance. The performance is excellent. But when I spark on 24 ping, you know something's up. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's battle in the BF-109 E3 as part of a sub request. Later on will be the JU-88A4. I'll see you all on the next one.